Hello, it's Friday, September 22nd, 2017, and as of this recording, I'm still depressed, but I'm not dead. Hey everybody, welcome back. Thanks for downloading the show, taking time out of your busy day to listen to me. I do appreciate it so very much. Something a little bit different today. I woke up early, as is the case normally these days, about 4:30 a.m. And my first store today for work doesn't open till 7. So I got up, I had some leftover pizza from dinner last night, took a shower, watched some of The Office, and realized I didn't have any idea what to do to pass the time. Uh, Normally on a day like today, when my store opens at 7, I would go get some bagels, but I ate the pizza, so I didn't need to fill any more carbs into this burgeoning body here. So I thought I would grab my trusty headset here and give a try, give a see if I could record and have somewhat decent sound quality in my car outside of the store that I'm going to go into. It's a Target store, so I'll just say Target from here on out. You know, I was reading a little bit of a book this morning too that the local author, John Sanford, and it got me thinking about my book, and that got me thinking about other things that I want to get into. But before I do that, let me remind you how you can get a hold of me, jamoalki@gmail.com, facebook.com/jamoalki, @jamoalki on Twitter, www.jamoalki.info, that's JAMOALKI. Also, you can text me at 248-648-1419. And hey, Lori, if you're still out there listening, send me a message. Let me know how you're doing, okay? Thanks. So that's about it, guys. Let's get into the show. So some of you may recall I've blurbed here and there on the show about a book that I was writing, NaNoWriMo book, National Novel Writing Month, which is November, so that's coming up again this year. So last year I wrote a book. I re-edited it, added 15,000 words to it, and my mother-in-law was kind enough to give it a once through for editing, punctuation, some grammar, things like that. So officially, as of, let's see, it's Thursday I'm recording. As of Tuesday, it's an ebook. It's not anywhere for release or for anyone to get. If anybody out there would like to read it, I'm more than welcome to send it to you. Just hit me up on email or however, and we'll work that out. By no means is this a finished product. It's not that polished probably, but 3 times through it is enough for me to kind of pack it away and say this is good enough for general, friendly, familiar discussion. So the thing about the book that I wanted to tie into the podcast here is that I don't feel any sense of accomplishment for doing it, and I think it's emblematic of the problems that I have with my own self-doubt, self-hate, self-loathing, self-whatever, disrespect. And, it's not suggesting that I should go around gloating about it, telling everybody, hey, I wrote a book. But I don't feel any sense of accomplishment, any sense of joy for doing this. If anything, I feel kind of relief that I got to a point where I can say, okay, this I can tuck this away for a while, and maybe one day it comes back out and I go through it one more time. But I don't feel accomplished. I don't feel that I did anything special. I don't feel really anything about it. It's kind of just, yeah, okay, that's done. And it got me thinking about other things in my life that maybe fit into that same, same scope of lack of feeling. I mentioned before I ran that half marathon, and I did it, and I trained quite a bit for it, and when I was done, it was just like, okay, that's done. Woohoo. I didn't feel any accomplishment for that either. Yeah. So, boy, this is going off the rails quick and early. Um, it's not, for sure, it's not, an uncommon accomplishment to run a half marathon, but it's not, it's not so common that anybody you meet on the street has done it, right? And again, I'm not saying I should gloat about it. And gosh, based on how little I could run right now, it's clearly it wasn't part of an overall lifetime of fitness. But I think most people would feel something after doing that, feel a sense of pride or even just happiness. And I didn't feel anything after it. I felt I felt relieved that I was done running for the race because that was the longest I had run ever. But yeah, I think back to uh, 11 years ago when I started working for Joanne's. There were some complications in the family which necessitated that I not be a stay-at-home dad anymore and go to work and be the major breadwinner, as it were. And I started with the company on whatever it was, Memorial Day weekend. No, that doesn't sound right. Martin Luther King Day was the day I started 11 years ago, and was it 3 months, 3.5 months after that, I was a store manager. I think I've mentioned this on the show too. I talked to my dad about that and told him, and he got choked up and he was really proud of me. But I didn't feel anything. In fact, I think I was spending most of my time being worried that, oh my gosh, I don't know what the hell to do. Why are they promoting me? I interviewed because I was asked to interview for the position, but I had no false hope or belief that I would get the job. And, I didn't feel anything from that. If we go back even farther, my first year really playing organized basketball at school, my freshman year in high school, and I was voted by the team members as the team MVP, and that should be something, right? I mean, the Bruce Springsteen glory days. I try not to live in those, but that's a thing, right? But to me, it's not. It's not something that I feel good about, that I feel that I accomplished. And I keep using that word accomplished. And I guess because I don't know another word to use. What I do know is this, I believe that this all stems from how little I think of myself, how much I demean the things that I have done, how much I don't respect myself, how much I don't love myself. I don't know. Yeah, so 4 things there, right? And various, I think, in various arenas of life, I guess. And so you may think, someone may think, big deal. You wrote whatever it was, 65,000 words, and it's in a book form, big deal. Someone else might think, high school sports, who cares? But, out of the 4 of those, I would think that any given person would think, hey, that was something. But for me, it's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. So what does that all really mean, right? I mean, I guess it means just what I've been saying all along, that I've really got to work on this self-love, self-respect, I don't know, self-worth, I guess, right? Yeah, I don't know. So something else that I wanted to talk about, something else I wanted to talk about. Nora's been away this week, and yada yada yada. You all know, how I turn into a festering pool of JP when Nora is out of town. So, my sleep has been a thing. I don't know if I've mentioned how much I really want to just go to sleep every evening. I feel like there's nothing worthwhile or enjoyable for me to be doing in the evening, and uh, sleep is the biggest draw. So, my bedtime is like 9 o'clock. Um, Sometimes 8:30 I go upstairs and start getting ready for bed. And, I know that, that's probably not the best bedtime for someone who wants to try to sleep later in the morning, but I mean, I've shown several times that no matter what time I go to sleep, I'm still up at 4:30. Quarter to 5 is a late night, some late morning sometimes. So in my mind, I might as well go to sleep a little earlier to try to get a little more extra sleep. But so Nora's been gone. She left Monday night. So Tuesday night, felt I was in that position again. Just knocking around the house empty. The boy is over at his dad's, as he often is when Nora is out of town. And it was like 6 o'clock, and I started thinking, geez, what am I gonna do till like a decent hour, even like 8? And I'll be honest, I have a book I'm trying to read, but it's really difficult for me to read right now and have that concentration. TV shows all just seem unengaging for me. I play a game. No, the games on the computer are stupid. Watch a movie. I don't have a hard time sitting through a whole movie anymore. Nora and I went and saw It last weekend, I think it was, and I was ready to go if there wasn't some kind of action or things actually happening on the screen. If it was just two people talking about whatever, I was ready to go. I hated it. I didn't want to sit through it. It was all mind numbing. So movies were out. I thought about going for a walk, but I don't remember why I shot that down. I did, probably because I was lazy. um, I was really struggling with what am I going to do? I mean, I got the dogs. I got to make sure they get in their crate tonight. They can't stay outside all night or stay in the kitchen all night. So I made the decision. I said, well, you wake up all the time. So, I went downstairs. I put the dogs outside at 6:15. Went upstairs, thought about brushing my teeth, didn't. Put on something on TV, The Office, because it's frequently I used to enjoy kind of going to sleep while things were happening in the background, and I lay down in bed to go to sleep. Took my trazodone, and I took 2 of my trazodone. I've been taking 3 or 4 a night. I took 2, fell asleep, slept for like 3 hours or so. So sometime after 9. I woke up, I thought, oh, okay, I'll go get the dogs, put them in their crate, got back upstairs, took 1 more trazodone, and that's it. I slept, fitfully for the whole night. I think my Fitbit said or let me know that I was in bed for something like 9.5, 10 hours, and I got maybe 7.5 hours of sleep, according to it. So, with a grain of salt, everybody. Yeah. So that's me when I'm on my own right now, in bed by 6:30. Is anybody else like that? Does anybody? I mean, I know it's it's different from the I'm depressed, so I want to stay in bed and sleep thing. It's not really that I feel that draw to go to sleep, to lay in bed. If anything, laying in bed can be also boring, and I feel I get up, I get back in bed. I get up, I get back in bed. I think I talked about this with bagels, right? That was the night I made bagels. So it's not that same kind of pull of the bed, like trying to sleep the misery and sorrow away. What I'm doing is trying to sleep the overall boredom with life away. Sleep is my best alternative to the blahness, the nothingness of my day, of, my evening. I think if, it so happens that I was working 4 days this week, so the 4 days that Nora was gone. She comes back tonight, the 21st. So the 4 days that Nora was gone, I was working. But I wonder if I had a day off, what would I do? How would I get through the day without work? I don't know. Would I just try to sleep? I try to pass the hours, sleep until it's bedtime, and I go to sleep for real. I don't know what I would do. There's nothing that sounds interesting right now. Well, I guess a couple books that I want to try to read, but like I said, I don't have the kind of concentration needed to do that. Yeah, I don't know what I would do to get through the day. And, yeah, I don't know, guys. What do you think? Let me know what you think. Leave a comment on the blog or send me an email or tweet or Facebook message or whatever. And let me know what you think. What do you guys, how's your sleeping habits? What do you guys do to get through the mundane parts of days? If you experience them like I do. Yeah, I don't know if the sound quality is going to be any good, so there's no sense yammering on more and more. We'll see if this podcast makes the cut. And everybody, thanks for listening. Be safe and be well.